drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Then celebrate it with or without champagne or rum.
My LinkedIn, my restream.
Right.
Damn. That's annoying. Okay. Are we live?
Yes, Mr. Any, we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome, guys, again to another edition of our Positivity live stream. Today's topic we can actually relate to it because something happening behind the scene right now. You can't give your best while neglecting yourself. I remember rushing home not long ago, and I told Mr. Any, you know what? Let's hold on a bit. I need to eat first because I'm very famished. And I know that if I had not eaten, I'm still eating, by the way, in case you care to join me. Probably I'm not giving my best on the show to share what I needed to share. So one thing I learned is beyond just talking about what we do, we are not just talker. We are also people who practice what we do. And that's the reason why for me, positivity is beyond the word. Positivity is beyond the caption. It's a lifestyle that we tend to live every day. So with that, I say welcome, guys. It's so good to have you join us again today. If you are in the comment section, kindly drop in your comments and let us know that you are here with us so that we can be able to shout you out and let the world know that you are here with us. It's always an amazing time for us because we believe that the power of positivity is non negotiable. It has the power to change a generation, and it has the power to place you and I in a place of possibilities where we can be able to achieve much more than we thought we can. And for us, that's why we said we have discovered it, we've experienced it, we are living a life of positivity. But it's not just enough for us to keep this ourselves, but then to also pass this message to more people out there in the world, for them to be able to also experience it and live the life of positivity that we are living. Because, like I said earlier, positivity is very, very important. We live in a time and in a season where people go through so much, people go through a whole lot, and they might not be able to share. And this that they are going through can be so overwhelming, can be so challenging. But then having that positivity, having that intentional mindset to stay positive and live that life of positivity every day, it's very important. And that's how we keep bringing this energy every day. So for those who are just joining us, welcome again. Um, if you're hearing my voice for the very first time, sorry you cannot see my face right now because I'm just coming in. I'm not being able to do the setup to be but definitely as the show goes on, I might be able to put on my camera so I can be able to see my face. But nevertheless, I guess you can hear me loud and clear. For those who don't know me, my name is Zion Inogeru. You're Mr. Positive Energy, a man who is on a mission to spread positivity to every corner of the earth, one person at a time. For me, I believe so much in the power of positive collaboration because together we can do so much more to make humanity better and make the world a better place. I'm a positivity coach and mentor. I help people embrace the power of positivity intentionally because it's a game changer and it brings you to so much possibility. And I also host online events just like this. So for anyone, you have a message, you have value you are giving, you want to put yourself out there, you want to stay visible, feel free reach out. Let's help you share your message. Let's help you amplify your voices and be able to reach out to more people out there. I do not do this alone. I have my co-host who's with me on stage already, and Jamie might be on his way coming. And for us, we share the same sentiment about positivity and how we can use it to make humanity better. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Mr. Any, even as he introduces himself and tell us how he helps people. Mr. Any, the mic is yours.
Good afternoon, my friend. Good afternoon, Mrs. E. Good evening in the UK. Great to be here as always. It's Friday, right? Let's welcome some of our friends who are here. So, obviously, Amy, I see you. So glad you're here. Welcome. Is there anyone who's here to drop us a comment? We can't see you unless you say something. We can see you, but we can't. We can see you're here, but we can't. We don't know it's you. Right. Oluwafunmi, welcome as well. Happy Friday to you too, my friend. Happy Friday to you. Right. For those who don't know me, just even those who know me, I can remind you what I do. Right. Any old song. My company is Global.Media. and we exist to simply make people famous. You know, the people that we work with the most are authors, so we'll take authors on the author journey. Literally, we help authors to do everything it takes to write their book, publish their book, and sell their book. You know, we have high goals, of course we do, which means we have to put in the work. You know, so our aim is to help authors to realize their legendary status, the status that's going to live with them and give them credibility forever. Simple way of saying, we make our clients, our authors, number one bestsellers guaranteed. You've got a decent book. If you haven't got a decent book, I don't tend to want to publish the book, right? You know, but essentially, you know, if you've got a book idea, then we can help you to bring that book idea to life. We can help you write your book. If you've written a book that's not selling, we can help you to sell your book. If you've written a book that's not getting the readers that you deserve, then aiming to make your number one bestseller will get your book more visibility on the platforms like Amazon. So that's what we do. Of course, we do events like this along our journey because authors get the best results, the best impact when people get to know, like, and trust them. And events like this are a great way to get seen, get known, and to tell your stories. So we'll do something. So we'll do events as part of our book launch process, and we'll do events to keep our friends up there, right? You know, in people's eyes. You know, Mrs. Z will do many, many things, right? But so essentially, if you're an author or want to be an author, then let's talk. I'd love to get to meet you. I'd love to know what you do. I'd love to see whether you can help me, whether I can help you. Let me leave it there for now, Mrs. Z. I'll pass the mic back to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And if there's one thing that I love, we are always intentional and concerned about helping people. For us, it's beyond business as usual. It's about people. It's about you. It's about us, and it's about helping your business. And that's why everything we do is tailored towards helping you to become a better entrepreneur, to become a better person, and also to make profit. Because at the end of the day, the whole essence of being an entrepreneur is making impact and also making profit. Profit is part of it because the more profits you make, the more impact you can make. They both go hand in hand together. So for anyone who is interested in writing a book, in hosting an event, in embracing the power of positivity, feel free to reach out to us and we will take you on a journey of possibilities. Because for us, anything is possible. For us, we can do anything. And that's the mindset we use in approaching everything we do, especially in business. So, with that being said, our topic today is it's you cannot give your best while neglecting yourself. In a nutshell, you can actually say self care. Now, as entrepreneurs, it's so true that there's so much to be done. There's goals after goal, there's plan after plan. If you make profit today, you want to make more profit tomorrow. And the cycle can be endless. And for most people, because they have goals, unachieved goals, they just keep going and going and going. By the end of the day, we forget the fact that we are human. You know, you might get tired, you must have feelings, you must have emotions. There are days we get frustrated, things doesn't go our way, and your body can can bear the consequences of you not getting that enough rest or paying more attention to yourself. And that's why we are bringing this conversation as a remembrance for people to remind you and let you know that as much as you want to make an impact, you want to reach out to more people, you want to leave a legacy, all these things are possible only when you can take good care of yourself. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, we make the mistakes of neglecting ourselves. You take care of your business, you take care of family, you take care of your ideas, you take care of your goals, but you don't take care of yourself. At the end of the day, nobody can take care of you more than you do. And that's why in the midst of the also and bustle, in the midst of the so much activities that we need to do, paying attention to yourself should be part of the goal. Paying attention to you is very very important because we cannot stress this point enough. So let us know that, self-care is very, very important. You have to remind yourself. You have to tell yourself that what I'm part of this. Because at the end of the day, you cannot give from an empty cup. Now my mentor 3 years ago gave me an illustration of a well. He said, Zion, when you look at a well who has water, people always go there to fetch water. Why? Because after that point, the well is valuable. The well is a source of water, is a source of life to people because from the well they can drink water. People are always around the well. People want to go to the well. The well is valuable to them. But at the end of the day, when the well is dried up, nobody goes to the well. Why? Because the well has lost its value, because the well has lost its resources, because the well can no longer be useful to them. I liken that to us as human or as entrepreneur. We live in a world where majority of the people is take, give and take, where it's either what you can offer, what I can offer you, and at the end of the day, that's the only kind of relationship that they have. So for most people, I've heard people, oh, I want to make an impact. I want to reach out to 1 million people. I want to reach out to this numbers of persons. Of course, it's good. It's a nice idea. It's powerful. It's how we make the world a better place. But at the end of the day, how much you can do depends on how much you can invest in yourself. How much you can do depends on how much you can take good care of yourself. That's why when you constantly give your time, your energy, your attention, and your support to others without you replenishing yourself, you will eventually have nothing to give. You get to a place where you are helpless. Yes, you want to make an effort, you want to make a difference, but because you are exhausted in yourself, there is nothing you can do to help other people. Now, I will always say this: the the best way to be sustainable in doing what you want to do is taking good care of yourself. Yes, you want to make an impact. Yes, it's good to start now, but if you want to be sustainable, if you want to have longevity over a period of time, there is need for us to pay good attention to us. Pay good attention to yourself. Don't leave it for others to do because at the end of the day, nobody can take care of you more than you. Nobody can take care of you more than you. So paying attention to yourself is very, very important because I said you cannot give from an empty cup. Secondly, you know, one fact that we need to also establish is this: self-care, it's not selfish. A lot of people think that taking care of themselves is a selfish thing to do. Oh, um, why will I be taking care of myself when I have other people needs to take care of? Why, people feel guilty for prioritizing themselves. They feel guilty. They feel bad. Nothing is bad when you take our time to reflect, when you take our time to rest, when you take our time to recharge yourself and take good care of yourself. Nothing is bad. But for some persons, they feel, oh, I'm not supposed to be taking care of myself because I'm supposed to be taking care of people. Forgetting the fact that the ability for you to take care of people consistently depends on how much you can take good care of yourself. That's why you cannot give your best when you are not your best. When you're not taking care of yourself, you cannot give your best. Take, for example, I'm sure in one way or the other, we might have felt ill or might felt sick, and you can literally tell how you were feeling when you were sick. You are not the person you used to be. The energy is not there as you used to. You don't have appetite to eat as you used to. The passion to do the job is no longer there as you used to. Why? Because your body is not up there. Your body is not active as it used to be. You will definitely gonna feel it. That's why you must understand that self-care is not selfish. You know, another thing is you must also recognize when you need a pause. A lot of people cannot draw that thin line to say, "Oh, I need a pause to relax." They always go and go and go and go and go, and the time they recognize is when they get to the point of no return, a point where they are breakdown, or they are burnt out, or they are going through um, pain in their body, or they are feeling so overwhelmed. That's the mistake that a lot of people make. You keep going on and on and on and on. For me, I always say, a lot of people have vision boards and they write a whole lot of things they want to do. For me, I always say this: part of your vision board should be self care. One of the major things that should be in your vision board is self care. The ability for you to, picture yourself taking good care of yourself. The way you picture your goals, the way you picture your aspirations, the way you picture family, the way you picture financial success, the way you picture, all those other things that are important to you. Also, make sure you are having a pictorial view of taking good care of yourself. Because this is one of the major things. At the end of the day, the goal you want to achieve, the financial freedom you are pursuing, the car you want to buy, the house you want to buy, all these things can become a reality only when you are fit, when you are sound, when you are good. Because at the end of the day, when you buy the car and you cannot drive it, it's of no use. When you buy the house and you cannot even enjoy living inside because while you are sick, you sometimes people spend more time in the hospital than in their home. So that's why, knowing when to pause is very, very important. Ask yourself this question: am I tired? Because sometimes we don't really know when we are tired. Am I overwhelmed? Have I had time for myself this week? Have I had time for myself today? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. When you reflect and intentionally take that pause to ask yourself this question, it reminds us, oh, I've not really had time to rest this week. Let me take this time out, as the case may be. It can be hours, it can be a day for the week to say, you know what, this day I'm resting. Why? Because I need to recharge. I need to recharge. I need to get better out there. Last month something happened. I was so busy back to back all week, and in my mind, I really need to get this job done. But at the end of the day, I got to a point when my body could not bear it anymore. And I was having serious headache. My body was shivering. It's not because I was sick, but because I was so tired, because I was on a marathon trying to get a job done. Then I had to take a pause. I slept for many hours and I woke up. I tell you, when I woke up, I felt so refreshed, so recharged, as if I'm a newborn. I'm just a newborn. I felt the energy surge. Now, because I was able to rest, it gave me more opportunity to be able to do much more than I could have done when I was going on a stretch. So sometimes taking that pause, taking that time out to be able to take good care of yourself is very, very important. Taking care of yourself, you know, affect your emotional and your mental well-being. I tell you, it does affect your emotional and your mental well-being. Your state of mind, how you position yourself, how you think, how you react, it boils down to how much you can take care of yourself. There are times when you are so tired, the way you react is different from when you're not tired. Sometimes you get easily irritated. You know, People will easily get to you. Why? Because you're tired. And so at that point, you are mentally not up there. And that's why when you go on a stretch like that, you don't take good care of yourself, you don't pay attention to yourself. You see, making decisions sometimes can be very, very difficult. Why? Because your brain is not functioning to the capacity it should function to help you think things through, to help you reason things, and to just put you in that right frame of mind. And that's why we are bringing this conversation today, to remind you that you, as a person, you cannot give your best while you are neglecting yourself. You cannot give your best when you are not being your best. You cannot give your best when you are not paying attention to you. Because at the end of the day, you are important. You are part of the goal. You should be part of the aspiration you are looking for. Health, they say, is wealth. When you are healthy, it translates to how much wealth you can accumulate. Why? Because a healthy mind reflects in your life. A healthy mind reflects a healthy life. And the only way your mind can be healthy is the ability for you to take a pause, pay attention, and take good care of yourself. This conversation for me is very personal, and I can go on and on to just keep talking, but I'm going to take a pause to allow Mr. Ernie to also share his thoughts on this. And, I know for him, he has been an entrepreneur for many years. He has many years of experience being an entrepreneur. And I'm sure he has had times where he needed to take care of himself and so that he could do more. So I'm just going to pass the mic to him. But for anyone you want to join us on stage, the link is in the comment section. If you are joining us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, welcome. We appreciate you once again. The link is in there. Click on it. I'll be able to bring you up on stage so that you can be part of our conversation today. And with that being said, Mr. Eni, I'll read the mic to you. Thank you, sir.
You shared a lot there, my friend. So thank you so much. We must listen. This is the one thing that we can't neglect. I agree with you on that one for sure. Let me welcome Mr. Cyrus. How are you doing? Welcome, 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 welcome. It takes a while to get from Restream to screen, right? And I also see you. Let me try and get your name right so I don't get it all wrong, which I can do every so often, right? So I'm in that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So it's the place of self-care cannot be overemphasized for sustainability and holistic well-being. Self-care is never selfish. I agree. For me to give to others, it's important to constantly fuel and recharge. That is so true, right? There's a bit missing there because of how Restream does what it does. So fuel and recharge. Personally, I now incorporate rest and recharge as part of my productivity strategy. That's a perfect way to look at it, my friend. That's a perfect way to look at it. You're 100% correct. See, look, there's a reality that we all live with. Now, that reality is that your body never lies, number one. And two, if you don't listen to your body will make you listen. Maybe I'll add a third one for you. See, most people spend all their energy and time building wealth. And then they spend all their wealth on their health. You said something very similar, Mr. Z. That if you don't look after yourself, you're going to spend time in hospital, and that's what happens, right? So, given that we all know this, why do we still keep pushing? Why do we still keep pushing until we push too far? And I say we because we all do. We all do. Mrs. Z, you did it last week, like you said. Your body told you, no, you have to stop, right? Now, for me, as I say, I push too far almost every day. But I enjoy, I tell you, maybe it's because I enjoy what I do, but that's no excuse. So a few days ago, my arm literally went into pain. So I'm going to have to take a few days rest from doing what I normally do in terms of my exercise. But that's fine, nothing has to be done right now. Nothing's going to kill me if I don't do it. It's not going to kill you if you don't do it either, right? But I think that there's more to looking after ourselves than just our health. Maybe if I say our health includes your mental health, includes your psychological health, your well-being, it includes your physical health, then we can begin to really see what it means to look after yourself. Let me mention a few of the things that are important to me when it comes to looking after me. The first one I want to mention is I think having respect for yourself. I've worked. I'm old enough to have worked for years for different people. I've worked for myself for the last 11 years. When you work then it's very easy to focus on the customer, the business, your task, your manager. When you work for yourself, it's even easier to focus on, I must get this done. I must get this done. I must get it done now. I think respect for yourself, basically, it means that you do the right things when you have to do them. You don't want to wait to be doing things when they're urgent, when it's a crisis. Of course, you don't want to miss deadlines. But respect for ourselves means that we give ourselves the time, the space to do what we have to do. If that time's not enough, then find a way to negotiate the time. Find a way to put the time in. Let me give you a simple example. See, when I was at uni, I was that person who would look at the assignment forever. And you have to do an assignment, it has to be in a month's time. I'll look at it and look at it and look at it until the night before. Then suddenly I want to try and get it done overnight. Sometimes, I guess I say sometimes it works, but it works because I usually got everything done. But sometimes it meant no sleep, no rest. It meant panic. It meant not doing my best. It meant doing everything in a hurry. And so, the same applies to business. We can all think we are daredevils. Maybe we think we're superhumans. We're not. Everything we have to do requires a right allocation of time, of thinking space, of effort to get it done. Give yourself those space and the time to get things done. That's respect for yourself. That's respect for the people that you serve. Because if you get it done properly, you'll be happier. Everyone will be happier. Everyone will benefit more from your efforts. If you don't respect yourself, then you try and burn the candles through the middle. You try and rush things. You try and take shortcuts. And all that's going to bring is mistakes, other people being upset with you, you letting people down. I could carry on. Hopefully you get the point. Respect yourself, respect those around you. Now, Mrs. Z, you're very right when you said the whole point of looking after yourself so that you can look after others. Almost everything I'm going to mention, it involves looking after you or doing for you so you can do for others. That's what looking after yourself really means. That's why it's so important. So I talked about respect for yourself. The second thing I want to talk about is the need to feel joy in your life every single day. Again, I'm sure we've all done it. You work, you work, you do one thing, then you do another thing, then you do another thing. You're just forever in a hurry to do stuff for people. Eventually, you're going to get burnt out. Eventually, life will tell you that's not the way forward. See, I think you have to realize that a big part of looking after you is experiencing joy every day. What does that mean? For me, it's having those moments where you're truly happy with yourself, where you're doing what you enjoy, you're doing what you love, you're doing what makes you happy. We must build that into our day. Even when we have a lot of work to do, still you must find time for those moments. Let's say, I've been there. I've got 3 kids. The first 2 kids, I was working so hard that I literally missed them growing up. By the time I turned around and looked, they were 16. And so the way I've changed that, my youngest, who's 17 now, there's pretty much no day I will not spend at least an hour and a half with him. Just doing son and daddy, just talking half the time, right? Just being ourselves. I'm saying just having fun. Sometimes it's exercising, hence my arm, like I mentioned earlier. Other times, it's playing games, it's a computer game. I'm saying literally, I used to tell myself, I haven't got time for that. I'm too busy. Believe you me, I've got time for that. You have to make time, right? because that's what gives me joy. I'd say I'm gonna be part of his life and see him grow into the person that he wants to be. Don't miss those moments. If you like playing football, make time to play football. If you like watching TV, yes, make time to watch your TV programs. Why not? You can't just work, work, work. Isn't there a saying, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy? That means something, right? Make time to play as much as there is, making time to work. Look, another part of our lives, my friends. How you doing, Bill? I see you. Welcome, 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 Bill. Mr. William Rochelle. The man's written an amazing book. And I imagine the effort it took him to write that book. Hopefully, Bill, you looked after yourself in the process. I'm sure you did. You're a sensible man, right? But welcome, welcome. If you haven't heard of The Bogeyman Was Built, talk to Bill. That's an amazing book he's written, which I think is it's a lesson for all of us. Anyway, let me come back to my point. Look, looking after yourself, my friends, another key part of the things that you must look after for yourself is your relationships. Now, too often we see people in business, maybe also in big companies, right? In big jobs. They work so hard, they make a lot of money, they're successful. On the outside, they look happy. And then suddenly the relationships blow up. They get their wife leaves them. The kids stop talking to them. They've got no friends. They don't know their relatives, brothers, sisters, mother and father. I'm saying literally, that is a choice that they've made by not looking after those relationships. Maintain your relationships. Spend time with those you love. I mentioned my son just now, right? Spend time with those who bring joy to your life. This is all part of respecting yourself and looking after you. Don't let your relationships suffer. Spending time with your loved ones, it makes you happy, brings you joy, it gives you life. It's a whole point of you living and working, right? I'll never understand why someone will work so hard to give the family a good life and then watch their family walk away and say, no, we wanted your time, we wanted you, we wanted a bit of your attention, your love, your care. Make sure you look after your relationships. Of course, one more that I would say on our list is rest. Rest. But before I came on the show tonight, before the show started today, I felt tired, Mrs. E. I went and took a nap. Normally, I'll sit here and sleep on my chair. It's not good for my health. It's not good for my legs. It's not good for any. Yes, I get a nap, but it's not. I don't feel rested. So I took myself off to bed. Yes, I did. Middle of the day. I think 3:30. I was off to bed. And I had to wake up at 6:30, and here I am. Right. If you feel tired, you're gonna have to rest because you can't work 100% if you're tired. We've all done it. We've all worked whilst falling asleep at our desk or at our workstation, right? Don't do it. Yeah, especially if you're a driver. Don't fall asleep whilst driving. You'll kill yourself. Literally. There's no way around it, right? Learn to rest, my friend. Again, look, I can hear people thinking, I'm in a job. If I'm tired, I can't just drop things and go and have a rest. Find time to rest. In my last job, I used to essentially have a nap during my lunch break. I'll go in my car and have a nap. I'm saying find a way to rest. Otherwise, be rested before you get to work. Be rested after you leave work. Rest. You can't work whilst tired, whilst exhausted. Plan your rest into your day, like Aminat said earlier. Your rest has to be part of your strategy. When do you sleep? When do you play? When do you relax? When do you spend time with yourself rather than with everyone else? This is all part of the life that we must live, my friends. There are two more, then I will pass the mic back to Mrs. Z. Right. Maybe the biggest thing that we need to do for ourselves, as Mr. Bill said it earlier, positivity at its best, for sure. Yeah, this is what we'll talk about here. So, the real mark of everything, of looking after yourself, of positivity, is loving yourself. But again, look, if you love yourself, all the things we're saying make sense. Self care makes sense. If you love yourself, then you have no, you shouldn't, then you won't feel guilty enjoying part of your day. You won't feel guilty doing what's right for you. You won't feel guilty resting. You won't feel guilty, being the person who has, who's healthy, right? You have to truly love yourself the way no one else can, because no one else can love you as much as you love you. A lot of people miss that point. They wait for others to love them, right? But you have to truly love yourself. Love yourself enough that you accept that you deserve the best, you deserve the rest, you deserve the health, you deserve the wealth, you deserve everything in life. And then go get it. Go do what it takes to get all that you deserve in life. That is the ultimate level of looking after yourself. And many people live and they hate themselves. That's a tragedy. You can't love anyone else. You can't love your customers. You can't love your business. You can't love your neighbors if you hate yourself. Don't be that person. Love yourself above all else, and do the right thing for yourself without compromise. Of course, as long as you're not hurting others, there's nothing you can't do for yourself, if you ask me, right? From no, my biggest joy, my biggest level of self-love, Mrs. Z, you were just doing it just now, right? I love good food. I just love good food. I love good food so much that every day food's my reward, right? I work until I get to eat the food that I've cooked. I love my food so much that I make sure I cook every day to eat what I love. That's my thing. Other people have their thing in terms of what self love means to them. I'm saying, but do what you truly enjoy. Show yourself that you are the star of your life every day. Truly love yourself and do what's right for you. Look, last I'll leave it with Mrs. Z is to say, follow your goals and your interests. Do what brings you joy. Follow your goals. If you want to be something, if you want to do something, go and do it. If you have an idea that's going to change your life, then commit to it and go and do it, whilst making sure you look after yourself. You can't be chasing everyone else's interests, everyone else's goals, and say you're looking after yourself. Chase your goals. If something's going to give you joy, chase it. Go and get it. Go and do it. That's what life really means. That's what loving yourself really means. Because when you achieve your goals, especially when you're still healthy, then everything else falls in place, right? You've got your relationships. You don't get angry. You don't feel sad. You don't feel depressed. And you feel the joy of success. It only comes when you truly love yourself and you do what is in your interest. Mr. Victor, Mr. Obi, I met Mr. Obi earlier today. And it's always great to meet people who have great ambition. And this young man has amazing ambition. I mentioned Mrs. Z to Mr. Obi, so I think hopefully we'll get to meet together, and let's see how we can work together to make your dream come true, Mr. Obi, to serve more people. Look, hopefully, if anything I said makes sense, then please implement. Don't just listen. Go and do what you need to do to change your life. Yeah. So let me stop talking because an amazing superstar is on stage, Dr. Dorothea. We've missed you, Dr. Dorothea. How are you? You're still muted, Dr. Dorothea. I don't know why. Is it me or is it on your side?
I think from my side. Hopefully, she'll be able to join us.
Okay. Well, we'll
Hopefully,
see
she'll be
you.
able
So
to join us.
yeah, hopefully you can unmute and then share with us. So we love hearing your insights. Anyway, Mrs. Z, I
Yes,
give the mic back to you, my friend. Loving yourself
yes,
and looking after yourself is great.
yeah. I think she's back. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, Dorothea, welcome back. So good to see you. How are you?
Hello, I am well. How are you all? I know it's been a while.
Yes, it's been a decade. We've missed
It
you. Welcome back.
has. Yeah. So, so my look has possibly changed since last time. I've
Yeah.
done a big chop again, and this is actually in terms of trying to be my best self. So,
Mm,
as many of you know, I've been healing a lot over the last couple of years, about 2.5 years since my son passed, and as part of that, I've lost a lot of weight, like over 50 pounds, and I've actually been asked to stop losing weight by my doctor. So I'm working on doing that now. But I
mm,
also just started losing my hair. And so to help my head heal, I'm keeping my hair super short for a while and taking care of myself in that way to see if it really can heal on its own or if I'm going to need to take another step towards healing and go see a doctor about it. Um, so though that's how I'm trying to be the best me and also giving myself time with my youngest grandson who's been here all week. So if I look a little exhausted, that's why. But
That's
yeah, I do encourage everyone, in thinking about your best self, think about what you have to do, think about what you can do, what you can delegate to other people, and seriously think about what brings you joy and make sure you're working that into your life. And that's my input for today. I really appreciate your letting me come to the stage.
thank you so much. No, I love that. I guess we think we have to do everything. We don't, right? We really don't. And your transformation is, it is show stopping, Dr. Dorothy, from your long dreads to now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, a lot of my friends, I've been going out to more events, especially since I've also moved back to Colorado, and people have no idea who I am, and I have to introduce myself to them, reintroduce myself to them, and then watch the look on their face like, I'm not really sure it's really her, but she says it is, so I'll just have to take her word for it.
Yes, no, look, I've got a bald head, clearly. I'm saying, even making choices like, how you keep your head and how you dress and what you do is part of
Yeah,
looking after yourself, right? Do what's
it
right.
is.
You do you, as we say, right? You do you. But thank you. I mean, delegating is an important point. We haven't got to do everything. We have networks, we have friends, we have people around us who can
Hmm.
help us. If it's not your thing, don't bash your head on the wall trying to do something that you don't enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy doing it, find someone who will. Of course,
Exactly.
I think if it's your job role, Dr. Dorothea, we need to find a solution. When you're in a job, of course, you haven't got as many choices as once you're an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, employ someone, get a subcontractor, delegate, get those things off your book. For me, it's maths. I don't like doing maths at all.
Mhm.
So I have an accountant who does all the maths. I'm saying that's how you do it, right?
Yeah,
I got staff, I got a team who do stuff I don't want to do. No, that's a great one for us to bear in mind. So I'll leave
yeah.
that there.
I
Thank you so
agree.
much.
Because while I like math, I don't like doing taxes. So as my taxes have become more complicated, I actually delegate that to an accountant, and it's a little pricey, but it's well worth the price. I just usually I organize everything and I send it to her. Last time I'm like, I'm just going to do a dump. You can figure it all out yourself.
Yeah, I do that every year at least. I do that every 3 months. We have to do it here, right? To say make tax digital is what they call it. And I've always paid an accountant from day one for that very reason. I don't like doing the numbers part, the tax part, no thanks. I just dump my receipts and say, there you go. My invoices, you deal with it. And then I get a bill, which is fine, you know. Then sometimes not everything is free. That's the point, right? Sometimes you have to pay people. You have to pay for the service you want. But people pay you for the service that you give them. It's a funny old world. That money goes around in a circle. Don't try and hold on to it forever as if you're the last stop, because otherwise you'll be the last stop. Let me welcome Rita. Rita, I see you. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. It's great to be here. No, it's great to have you here with us. So our time is going. So if you do want to join us here to share with us, please do that. Now's your time to join. Now's your time to click on the link in the comments. Otherwise, if you want a link, just put a message here in the chat. Send a link, please, and I will happily send the link to your DM. Right, Mr. Z, you've been quiet for far too long.
Yes, and I want to highlight something that Dorothy said, which was very powerful. Dorothy, welcome again. It's so good to have you. And yes, you look a bit different from the world from what we used to know. And I'm glad I can like, oh, okay, this is you. But I'm glad that you're able to share with us some of the things that you have been going through and how you have been able to practically and intentionally put self-care, as part of your routine. For me, one thing that you said lastly before you dropped the mic was delegation. Because this is something that we need to stress more. And a lot of entrepreneurs are very guilty of this. We want to do everything by ourselves. We want to be involved in all areas, in all sectors, in all, in every little details you want to be involved. But at the end of the day, this can make us to burn out. This can make us to overstress ourselves. And that's why it's good to have a team. And having a team is not just about the name team, it goes to the point where you begin to trust your team to do that which you have asked them to do. That all you need to do is to get feedback, put all the feedbacks together, and make your informed decision. But sometimes we want to be involved in all. I'm going to give you an example. When we're growing up, my mom is this kind of a person. She wants to do everything by herself. She wants to cook. She wants to clean. She wants to do the dishes. She wants to do everything by herself. It got to a point where we have more people at home. The work was very stressful for her. So we decided to say, what, we're going to help her do everything. Before she came back from the market, we literally did everything she was supposed to do. And when she came back, she was resting. Then the question was, how do you feel now? You're like, it's good. So from that day onward, she had to learn that, wow, we are not trying to do it because we don't know how to do it. It's because we want to help you. And the same way for us as entrepreneurs, your team really want to do the job. Your team want to help you, but you don't trust them enough to delegate stuff to them, to delegate duties to them. So you cannot do it all by yourself. That's why there's a popular saying that goes, no man is an island of himself. No matter how good you are, no matter how eloquent you are, no matter how smart you think you are as a person, there's no way you can do it all by yourself. Delegate to people, trust people to get the job done. If you need to monitor it, if you need to ask for feedback, if you need to, pay attention, find out good. But make sure you're not doing all the work. Because doing all the work most time it's very stressful. It can tell on you. Like Mr. Annie said at the beginning, he said your body does not lie. Your body will always tell you the truth. The body will always tell you, you know what, you have been overworked, you have been tired, you have been stressed that you need to rest. But most time we don't listen to our body. So it's our time we begin to listen to your body and let your body do the talking so that you can be able to know when to rest and when to take that necessary break. Mr. Any also mentioned something that says, say, love yourself. For me, I'm still learning how to do this more. I'm loving myself, but loving yourself is in degrees. Loving yourself is in phases. And the more you love yourself, the more you learn how to love yourself. Because what you love, you pay attention to. What you love, you take good care of. What you love, you want the best for that. What you love, you want it to always be up there, to always be good, to always be full of energy for what you love. So that's why loving yourself is non-negotiable. You have to love yourself. If you love yourself, you will take care of yourself. If you love yourself, you will pay attention to yourself. If you love yourself, you will make yourself a priority. It is very, very important. And lastly, that what Mr. Ernie mentioned that really spoke to me is plan your rest. Rest does not happen by chance. It didn't just happen like as I going, rest will just come. No, you have to plan your rest. Rest should be part of your daily plan, your weekly plan, your monthly plan. Beyond the going to the job or doing your business, work should be part of the plan. Because rest should be part of the plan, sorry. Rest does not happen by chance. It's not a coincidence that just happened all along the way. If you don't plan to rest, life will rest you by itself. It's as simple as that. If you don't plan to rest, life will rest you by itself. Because in one way or the other, you're going to rest. Either you rest by choosing to rest, or you rest when life makes you rest by being sick, by being burnt out, or by being, not be able to move because your body cannot move. So it is very, very important. That's why we're bringing these conversations so that people can be aware. Beyond just knowing that rest is important, there has to be a place of intentionality. And the intentionality will make you take the necessary action that will put you in that place where you take that rest that you need. With that being said, Mr. Cyrus, welcome. It's so good to have you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us on stage. We appreciate you. Feel free, unmic yourself and share with us your thought on this conversation and how more people can be able to embrace the power of taking good care of themselves and making themselves a priority. Mr. Cyrus, the mic is yours. Yes, you're still muted. You can unmic yourself. Or is it just me, Mr. Henry? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, guys?
All right, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
Oh,
We can hear
hi.
you.
How's
Go
it going?
for it. It's
Good to
going
see
well.
you guys
Thank you.
again.
How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing today? You okay?
You're here.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. So, good afternoon, Dorothy, Zion, and Annie, and all the fantastic people listening as well. Um, Regarding helping, um, what I do is I'm a podcast and brand creator. I get friends and family who come to me and say, um, uh, come and help us," and I go and help them for the first phase of the project. So I help them, and I help them, and I help them, and I did that for a while when I was younger, and at some point, my mom and dad told me, "Is there a limit? Like, is there? Are you going to set some sort of boundaries?" I was like, "What do you mean boundaries? I have to help. They need my help, right?" So that means emotions were at the wheel and driving at 1,000 miles per hour, right? So I was like, "Yeah, they need me. I need to be for them. I need to be there for them. They are a young podcast. They need more help. I need to be transferring my knowledge to them. I need to push them forward. I need to do this. I need to do that." Who told me I needed to do that? Now I'm thinking. So it was me, a combination of myself, the values that I held, and peer pressure. But it was some sort of invisible, kind of backseated kind of situation, right? So then my mom and dad continued telling me, um, um, "Have you ever played football without boundaries around the pitch?" I said, "No." "How about rugby?" I said, "No." So they said, "You need to set some boundaries." So I started setting some boundaries, and I went back to my parents and said, "Well, I've lost friends because of this." And then they told me, "Yeah, we told you this. We gave you that kind of instruction, gave you that advice, so you can understand who your real friends are. There are a lot of people around you. They just are there for taking more and more and more. on and on. And imagine there is 740 billion pounds in the central bank, in the Bank of England. Is it valuable? Yes, that's why they have a vault. Okay, so you need to open your vault when necessary, right? There's a limit. The help that you provide to people, there's a test. I'm going to share that test with you. When is it that you are being taken advantage of? And when is it you are neglecting yourself? Okay, so um, sacrifice is a positive thing as a concept. However, sacrifice without boundaries is sheer stupidity. And if you don't, there are boundaries. That's there's a reason there are walls around your house, and there's a door, there are windows, right? So you can control the flow of air, control the flow of people coming in and going out. And we would do this even when we used to live in caves, right? There would be people guarding the entrance, right? So there are boundaries. Okay, without those boundaries, uh, uh, you can't lead a normal life, right? And when it comes to giving, people always take from you for as long as you give, right? And um, statistically speaking, some of the people surrounding you are just there for taking, just taking it, taking, taking. When you ask them to help you, probably they won't be there for you. You have to test them. You have to give and give and give, and every once in a while ask, and you will find out. You will see the boundaries they are setting for you. And if they are setting boundaries for you, why shouldn't you reciprocate and set boundaries for them? You know what? Forget about them and their boundaries. Set yours. Okay, so um, the universe and this world respects boundaries, respects charisma. It doesn't respect sacrifice. Okay, so that being said, at least 10 to 15% of what I do is dedicated to charities because I love it. I like it. That's the way I am. I can't change that. So 10 to 50% needs to go to them. Now, the test that I promised you that I'm going to share with you is find out if the sacrifice that you're making, how do you know you're neglecting yourself, right? This is the test. If the sacrifice you're making becomes a required thing, if it becomes moral blackmail. So what happens if you stop teaching your cousin math? What happens if you don't babysit for your neighbor? What happens if you don't house sit for your parents or someone else? So these are the things that you do for other people, right? And if you don't, what happens if you don't do it for them? Will they react towards you? Would they treat you any differently? If they do, your sacrifice has turned into self-neglect. Okay, you're neglecting yourself, and you are giving more than necessary, right? And it's just you're touching the boundaries of insanity. So to keep your sanity, to keep your mental health intact, what you need is proper set boundaries. And as we discussed in one of the previous episodes with Annie, unspoken expectations are recipe for resentment. So if you don't tell people what you expect, or what they can expect from you, you are it's premeditated resentment. You are uh, paving the way for you getting resented or for them feeling resentment towards you. Thank you, guys. I'll be listening in there.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much, Saros, for that great contribution. Thank you. I love it when you spoke about boundaries because it is also very, very important. One way for us to actively practice self care is the ability for us to set boundaries. And by setting boundaries, know when to say no, know when to say yes, know when to accept things, know when to decline. For some persons, one of the reasons why you are burnt out is because you say yes to everything. Every opportunity is not for you, and that's the truth. Everything that looks good might not be meant for you. And that's why you have to critically analyze things before you make decisions. You must not say yes to everything. At the end of the day, it becomes a burden to you. It becomes a challenge for you to cope. And that's why setting that necessary boundary is important. And something that Sarah was mentioned is looking out for people. Yes, there are people who are out there, you know, we tend to experience them every day, who want to take and take and take and take without giving you back, who want to take from you, get your knowledge, get value from you. But at the end of the day, they cannot give you back. Like Sarah said, you are always showing up for them. But when you ask them to show up for you, it becomes a problem. It becomes a challenge. They cannot show up for you the way you are showing up for them. And these are things that we need to look at for. Yes, sacrifice without boundaries is shared stupidity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Making a sacrifice without putting necessarily, but it will tell on you. It will fall on you. At the end of the day, because you have said yes, you want to do everything possible to show. You want to do everything possible to keep to your word. And in doing that, it's going to cost you. It's going to take you time. It's going to take you energy. It's going to take you resources that you might not be able to get in return in doing what you're doing for people. Yes, respect boundary, and it doesn't. The universe respect boundaries. It doesn't respect charisma or sacrifice. Of course, that's true. If the sacrifice you're making become a required thing, will they treat you any different? If they do it, if do it turn into self-neglect. You are giving more than necessary. No, it is very, very important. It's very important. If you stop doing what you're doing for these people, would they treat you the way they are treating you? Or they are treating you well because they know what they are getting from you. So boundaries is very important when it comes to self-care. We cannot overemphasize this because I love the analogy that Saros gave that a house is built with window and house and doors. Why? Because for you to be able to control the amount of air that comes in, and for you to be able to control the people that comes into the house. That's why we have boundaries. We have boundaries to be able to monitor and control the kind of people that comes into your life. My mentor will always says, your association determines your destination. The kind of people you surround yourself with has a key role to play in making you become that which you want to become. And that's why it is very, very important that we pay attention to the people that is around us by keeping the necessary boundaries. You keeping boundary does not mean you are a bad person. You having that boundary does not mean that you don't love people, does not mean that you don't take care of people. It simply means as much as you're taking care of people, you're also prioritizing yourself. You're also paying attention to yourself to tell yourself that you matter, you are important. As much as people deserve you being a blessing to them, you also deserve people being a blessing to you. As much as people deserve you helping them, supporting them, you also deserve people to help you and support you. So as much as you are helping people, also be expectant to also allow people help and support you too. I've seen people who they like to support people, they don't like people to support them. It cannot work. It has to go both ways. So keep that boundary, let it be there, pay attention to yourself, and make sure that you're making yourself a priority because at the end of the day, self-care is not selfish. So, Mr. Eni, I'm sure you have something to say about what Charles has shared with us today. And for anyone you want to join us on stage, the link is in the comment section. One thing that we do here is we always give people the platform to be able to share their voice, to be able to share their value. And we are streaming to different platforms. We are currently streaming to YouTube, to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to Twitch, so that we can be able to reach out to more people. Feel free, come up on stage, tell us what you do, how you help people, and your thoughts about this conversation. And with that being said, Mr. Eni, I read the mic to you.
For sure. Look, I say thank you, Mr. Obi. I love your comments. Thank you for reiterating what Cyrus has been saying and for reinforcing the points he's made as well. Mr. Tea, Milk and Two Sugars, that's Cyrus for you. That's Cyrus' latest venture, right? Now, look, you hit a very important point, my friend. You really do. You said I was sort of winding myself up to talk about the need to say no. I think that's probably one of the biggest things we can do in terms of looking after ourselves. It's fine to say no. It's not just fine. Say no to spending time in places where you're not valued. Say no to spending time with people who sap your happiness and joy. You know who those people are. I'm saying don't spend time with them. You're not going to miss anything. People who who insult you, people who put you down, people who doubt you, people who are negative towards you. Don't spend time with them. There's nothing to be gained at all. I promise you. Whoever you think that person is, they're rich, they're big, they're successful. No, just say no. If you don't appreciate me and for what I bring and what I do, what I offer, then I'm not going to spend time with you. See, what that does, it gives you time to spend time with other people who do appreciate you, people who do love what you do, people who build you up, who bring you joy, who are all happy to pay you. See, this is important now. You have to truly learn how to say no. Another thing I'll say no to is distractions that waste your time. We live in a world where the world around us is designed by big companies that want to take our money and our time. Scrolling social media all day. Yeah, look, it gives you that dopamine hit that tells you, oh, another new video. Oh, look at that. Isn't that funny? It's wasting your time, right? Don't spend your time doing that. Say no. Literally say no. And much like same way I'll say to anyone, say no to becoming an alcoholic, a drug addict. Someone who just wastes time all day. I said earlier, respect yourself. Respecting yourself means doing what's right for you, not wasting time on things that don't help you, right? But Cyrus, I think your point about boundaries is so important. So people think if I say no, then I'll lose something. You lose nothing. People get to respect you more. People get to know they get to know where the line is for you. And that line is what you have designed to say, here is what I'm willing to accept. Here's what I'm not willing to accept. Here's what gives me joy. Here's what brings me down. And stick to those boundaries as well. Everyone's got boundaries, right? The people who are successful have boundaries anyway. I'm saying people who achieve happiness in life have boundaries. And again, it's different for everyone. You decide what yours is and stick to it. Make sure the world knows. Those who cross the boundary, do something to show them they crossed the boundary. Now, for me, look, my biggest boundary is simply don't call me before 12 o'clock. Any day. I'm not going to answer you. My clients, my family, they know this, right? The only people that can call me before 10 o'clock is before half past 12 really, is my wife and my son. If it's really important, I'll make time. I'll sleep a bit earlier so I can respond to them. But for everyone else, no, I refuse. There's nothing wrong with 2 o'clock. Why do you need 11 o'clock? Really? Who do you think you are? I just told you I don't do before 12, right? So, saying genuinely, put your foot down, because that shows that you love yourself, you respect yourself, and you respect your time, you respect everything about you, you respect your peace, your happiness. Those boundaries are so important. Boundaries are enablers; they're not constraints the way people think. Set yours and keep to them. Mrs. E, I suppose we have to go towards wrapping up today. I think it's been a great conversation. Dr. Dorothea and Cyrus have had a genius of our conversation, which I think is brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. Mrs. E, I give the mic back to you, my friend.
Yes. I think that can wrap it up for today because we've said a whole lot concerning this conversation, and I'm sure that we have been able to place people in the place of intentionality where they are very intentional about self-care and taking good care of themselves. So for me, I believe that has been an interesting one, and you can always watch the replay and help us repost and share this event so that I can be able to reach out to more people and get more people to see this event and also learn. Because at the end of the day, the whole essence of us talking about this conversation is that people can be able to take necessary actions that can change their life. Don't wait for life to make you rest. Instead, plan your rest and make it part of your routine because you are very important. You mean so much to us, and that's how we want to intentionally remind you this of taking good care of yourself. Self care, it's not optional, it's a priority. It's something that you have to do every day. Pay attention to yourself because at the end of the day, the key for you to make impact sustainably is the ability for you to take care of yourself and making yourself a priority. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We appreciate you. Don't forget, our mission is to spread positivity to every corners of the earth, one person at a time. If you are given an opportunity for you to show love, show kindness, free to do it, because why? That's how we make the world a better place. Because people are going through so much. Just one act of kindness, one act of love can make a huge difference in people's lives. So with that being said, I'm wishing everyone a wonderful weekend ahead. We'll be back here next week, Friday, on another edition of our Positivity Live, where we're going to be discussing another interesting conversation. So thank you so much, everybody.
Mr. Z, I just noticed Yolanda was here, or is here, and Mr. Clever is here as well. So I just seen them on my
Oh,
LinkedIn. I didn't see them on the chat here.
yes, they
I
are not
made a
showing in the
comment.
chat.
Right. You know, but
They are
thank you
not
for
showing in the
joining us.
chat.
Thank you for joining us, all of you. You know, we appreciate everyone who gives us their time. You know, especially if you go and take action, then it makes it worthwhile that we've shared what we shared today, right? Go on, Mr. Z. Mr. Z, let's go towards the close, my friend. Let's go towards the close. But my friends, look, enjoy your week, like Mr. Z was saying, and hopefully we'll see you again next Friday. Look, in the meantime, do connect with each other, connect with people, and share your positivity.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drum.
I appreciate it.